Have you ever wondered if you're doing things that silently push people away, though no one has the courage to tell you? As we age, we develop certain habits, some wise and comforting, while others become blind spots. You might believe you're simply being yourself, but in reality, those around you notice these habits. And although they remain silent, your behaviors can subtly impact how family, friends, and even strangers perceive you. In this video, we'll explore 12 unattractive behaviors you might display in old age that everyone notices but nobody mentions. And I don't mean unattractive physically. I'm referring to behaviors that gradually diminish your dignity, isolate you from others, and erode the respect and grace you've earned throughout your lifetime. Each sign will invite you to reflect, not to judge yourself harshly, but to gently hold up a mirror and ask, is this still serving me, or is it driving people away? Here's the good news. Most of these habits can be completely corrected. Awareness is simply the first step. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize what to watch for, but also learn how to carry yourself with greater confidence, clarity, and grace in your later years. So, stay with me until the end, because you may discover that a few small adjustments could significantly change how others experience you and, more importantly, how you experience yourself. Let's begin. Number 1. Neglecting personal hygiene. One of the first things people silently observe but rarely mention is when someone stops maintaining their hygiene. I'm not talking about major neglect. It's the subtle things. Wearing clothes that appear to have been worn for several days straight, unbrushed hair, fingernails that grow a bit too long, a slight odor that lingers after you've left the room. These may seem minor, but they communicate volumes. You see, hygiene isn't merely about cleanliness. It reflects how we present ourselves. In younger years, we typically maintain these habits without conscious effort. But as we age, energy decreases, routines shift, and some begin to wonder, what's the point? This change is subtle, but those around you notice. They won't tell you directly because they don't want to embarrass you, especially younger family members who aren't sure how to raise the issue without hurting your feelings. Instead, they simply adjust, sitting slightly farther away, shortening their visits, hesitating to initiate hugs. But they're not reacting to you personally. They're responding to the message your self-care conveys. It suggests you've partially given up, that perhaps you don't value yourself as much as you once did. And here's what no one says aloud. When you stop caring for yourself, people unconsciously treat you with less warmth and respect. This doesn't mean dressing like a fashion model or wearing cologne daily, but a clean shirt, freshly washed hair, and trimmed nails make a significant difference. They tell the world, I'm still here, I still care, I still respect myself and you. The truth is, people respond to your energy before they respond to your words, and hygiene is one of the clearest reflections of that energy. When you take care of yourself, it quietly invites others to treat you with kindness, closeness, and dignity. And that's the message worth sending. Number 2, speaking without a filter. As we age, something curious tends to happen. The inner voice that once cautioned, maybe don't say that aloud, grows quieter and sometimes vanishes completely. You begin expressing your thoughts more freely, perhaps even proudly, thinking, I've earned the right to say whatever I want. While that may feel liberating, those around you often experience something very different: discomfort. You see, there's a fine line between honesty and bluntness, and over time, maybe you've crossed it. If you find yourself making remarks that cause people to pause, shift uncomfortably, or avoid eye contact, it might indicate that what you're expressing isn't just truth, it's harshness. Perhaps you've caught yourself commenting on someone's weight, appearance, relationship, or even their parenting style. Maybe you've dismissed concerns with a laugh, saying, I'm just being honest, or, back in my day, we weren't so sensitive. But here's the reality. Honesty without compassion simply sounds like criticism, and those receiving it rarely confront you. They just gradually withdraw. You'll notice they stop including you in certain gatherings, or they cut phone conversations short. They love you, but they're protecting themselves from the sting of those small, thoughtless comments. This doesn't mean censoring every word or walking on eggshells, but it does mean pausing before speaking and asking, "Is this helpful? Is this kind?" Because sometimes what feels like speaking your truth is actually just venting frustration, and it impacts others more severely than you realize. A good guideline: if you wouldn't want someone saying it to your grandchild, perhaps don't say it to someone else. The beauty of growing older is the wisdom you carry, and when that wisdom is wrapped in kindness, people lean in, they listen, they deeply respect you. But when it comes coated in sarcasm or judgment, they begin tuning out. Even with good intentions, your words retain their power, perhaps now more than ever. Use them to build connection, not create distance. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Number 3, wearing clothes that don't fit anymore. There's comfort in routines. Eating the same breakfast, walking the same path, wearing clothes you've had for years. There's nothing wrong with consistency. But regarding clothing, what once appeared classic can, over time, begin to feel neglectful. You might not notice it yourself, but how your clothes fit, or don't, says much about your connection to the present moment. Pants hanging too loose, shirts clinging too tight, outdated styles from decades ago, or shoes that have lost their shape. These aren't merely fashion choices. They quietly suggest you've stopped paying attention, and while no one will directly point this out, they notice. It's not about following trends or dressing like someone half your age. It's about showing the world you still see yourself as someone worth caring for. When people observe an older adult in well-fitting clothing that looks maintained and reflects self-respect, they immediately feel something: admiration. It indicates this person still engages with the world, not from vanity, but dignity. Consider this. Would you wear the same suit to a job interview that you wore 25 years ago? Probably not. The same principle applies to everyday life. Our bodies change, our coloring shifts, and our energy evolves. Dressing in a way that reflects your current self, not your past, demonstrates emotional presence and self-awareness. I've heard some say, "At my age, why should I care what others think? I'm comfortable." That's fair, but being comfortable and being dismissive aren't equivalent. You can be both comfortable and put together, relaxed, yet respectful of your appearance. Even something as simple as upgrading to well-fitting jeans or choosing a shirt that complements your natural coloring can change how people respond to you. Not because of the fabric itself, but because of what it represents. That you're still engaged, still aware, still proud of who you are today. People won't directly compliment you. They may not mention it at all, but they notice. They smile more. They treat you with greater reverence. Because, like it or not, how we dress is what the world sees first, and even in old age, that initial impression still matters. Number 4, interrupting or dominating conversations. We all want to be heard, particularly in our later years, when we've accumulated enough experiences to know a thing or two. But sometimes, in that desire to share our knowledge or to ensure our point is understood, we forget to leave space for others. It begins subtly. You're conversing and someone mentions a topic you've dealt with before. You interject, share a story, start explaining what they should do. Before you realize it, 10 minutes have passed and no one else has spoken. What's challenging about this habit is that it doesn't stem from malice. Usually, it's rooted in a genuine desire to help. But here's the problem. When we occupy too much conversational space, we unintentionally silence the very people we care about, and they won't tell you you're doing it. Instead, they'll gradually distance themselves, call less frequently, keep conversations briefer. You'll sense the distance but may not recognize its source. People want to feel seen and heard, not lectured, and when every interaction starts feeling one-sided, it quietly erodes the relationship, especially with younger adults or grandchildren who may already feel uncertain about connecting across generations. It's not about saying less. It's about listening more, allowing pauses, asking more questions than you answer, and resisting the impulse to offer unsolicited advice. One of the most powerful things an older person can do in conversation is hold back just enough to let others fully express themselves. Not because you lack wisdom to share, but because they need to know their words matter too. And here's the irony. The less you dominate the conversation, the more people seek your input. The more you listen, the more they trust you. You become someone they want to talk to, not someone they brace themselves for. So, next time you're in a group or even chatting one-on-one, pay attention. Are you truly listening? Or just waiting for your turn to speak? That small shift in awareness can transform everything. Question, because when people feel heard, they open up, they draw closer, and they begin looking forward to the next conversation, rather than dreading it. Number 5, complaining about kids these days. It starts as a simple observation. You see a teenager absorbed in their phone and think, back in my day, we actually talked to each other. You hear someone in their 30s making a decision you disagree with and think, they have no idea how the real world works. Before you know it, these thoughts begin slipping out in conversations with friends, family, even strangers. You may not realize it, but when you consistently criticize younger generations, it sends a powerful and often harmful message. It tells those around you, especially your children and grandchildren, that you're not interested in understanding them, that you're stuck in a time that no longer exists. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every generation believes the one following them is lacking something. That's nothing new. But when criticism becomes your default response, it doesn't make people view you as wise. It makes them see you as bitter. You might intend it as humor. You might believe you're simply stating the obvious, but to those hearing it, especially those under 50, it often feels like rejection, like you're dismissing their entire world, their values, their lifestyle. The result? They stop opening up. They keep conversations superficial. They avoid deeper discussions because they're anticipating judgment. Even when they love you, they begin keeping part of themselves at a distance. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything younger people do. It doesn't require embracing every new trend or idea, but it does mean choosing curiosity over criticism, asking instead of assuming. When you shift from saying, "These kids today have it easy," to asking, "What's it like trying to find your way in today's world?" you create space for connection. You invite dialogue, not division. Remember, your value doesn't come from comparing past to present. It comes from bridging them, being the steady hand that reaches across generations, not the voice shouting from behind. And remarkably, when younger people feel respected by you, they listen more, they ask questions. They approach you not out of obligation, but desire. You become not just the elder present, but the one they admire, trust, and turn to, not for lectures, but for wisdom that listens first, then speaks. That's genuine influence, and it begins with releasing the need to be right about how things used to be, and embracing who you can still be right now. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 5 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 6, ignoring modern etiquette. There's a kind of social awareness that often goes unnoticed until it's absent. Things like speaking loudly on your phone in public, standing too close in line, or playing videos without headphones in a waiting room. Minor behaviors, certainly, but they can significantly impact how others perceive you. These things might not have been problematic decades ago. Back then, people were more tolerant of loud conversations or unexpected behavior. But times evolve, expectations shift, and what was once considered harmless now causes quiet discomfort. Here's the difficult part. You may not even realize you're doing it. No one pulls you aside saying, "Hey, could you turn that down?" Or, "Would you mind stepping back a bit?" Instead, they'll give you a look, avoid eye contact, or move to another seat. It's not personal, but it is real. And whether on the subway, in a coffee shop, or simply walking through a store, these small breaches of what's now considered common courtesy send a message. They say, "I'm unaware of how I affect others." And truthfully, people don't always give older adults the benefit of the doubt. They often assume you should know better. So, when they observe these behaviors, they don't attribute it to misunderstanding. They attribute it to disregard. That's not the legacy you want to leave, and fortunately, it's among the easiest things to correct. Start noticing how people around you behave in public spaces, how they manage their volume, navigate personal space, engage with technology when others are present. Modern etiquette isn't about being rigid, it's about being considerate. It demonstrates that you're still connected to the world, still engaged, still conscious of your impact on others, and that awareness builds respect. It tells people, "I may be older, but I remain someone who pays attention, someone who adapts, someone who cares about others' feelings." That doesn't just improve how strangers respond to you, it changes how your own family perceives you, too. Grandchildren notice, neighbors notice, and their quiet admiration grows, because in a world that's constantly rushing, someone who moves with awareness,